Have you ever find yourself being alienated by people and your goals are not working out? It's because you have self-sabotaging behavior. Now, I made another video about this, but I want to go over more self-sabotaging behavioral patterns. This is Dr. Spencer Coaches. Today, I'm going to talk to you about self-sabotaging behaviors that go less noticed because they're more hidden. And when you have unconscious behavioral patterns, you're going to be in denial of them. And this way, and that happens, or when that happens, you're not going to change anything because you're not aware of them. In fact, when people tell you about it, it may offend you. You may think they're insulting you. But in fact, they're trying to help you. In fact, that response in itself of not being able to handle constructive criticism is a self-sabotaging behavior. But I'm going to go over 7 self-sabotaging behaviors or 7 hidden self-sabotaging behaviors that if you become aware of these, you can transform them and then transform your life. That's why I'm doing this. I'm making these videos because I had a lot of self-sabotaging behaviors. I was very compulsive and impulsive a large part of my life. And I didn't realize that was hindering my progress because I couldn't see things long term. I couldn't make any long-term plans and make long-term plans happen. I would continually change my plans every couple of weeks, even the course of the day. There was no stability. And nobody wants to work with somebody who is unstable. Now, this camera a little bit here. Now, I changed my life. I became more disciplined, became more focused when I realized I stopped making life about me and what I can get and started making life about what can I contribute? How can I improve the lives of those around me, the community that I'm a part of, or the circumstance that I'm in? So then I started becoming more beneficial rather than self-centered. And that helped me really progress in many aspects of my life. So enough about me. Let's focus on these hidden self-sabotaging behaviors. Number 1 is going to be talking shit behind people's back. Now, nobody likes a two-faced person. Now, I'm not talking about working something out, trying to brainstorm, if you will, before you talk to somebody, but that chronic complainer who's always criticizing, judging, putting down, and demoralizing people behind their backs. You know, people gossip. People are going to talk. That's a part of life. But there's that one person who's always talking behind somebody's back. It's like they're jealous. They're envious. Like they can't stand to see them succeeding. And they want to point out all their faults, how they don't deserve what they have, or whatever it is, making fun of them, ridiculing people behind their back. I got something in my eye here. Ridiculing people behind their back. And that doesn't work so well because when you do that, people are not going to trust you. They see that they can't tell you anything and keep it between you and them. So you become untrustworthy. You become, your morals don't look so good. And when people don't trust you, they don't want to work with you. They won't give you the opportunity. They won't invite you out. They won't share with you things. They won't confide in you. Being two-faced is not a good idea. Number 2, criticizing people for no reason. You've always met that ultra-critical person. He doesn't know how, or she doesn't do this. They don't know this. Only pointing out people's faults. And when you only focus on people's faults, it says that you're a negative person, that you're going to bring somebody down before you uplift them. And nobody wants to be around a Debbie Downer. If you're constantly criticizing people, it shows that you, 1, either have a fear of the unknown, that often comes with criticism, or 2, you're really insecure about yourself and you just don't know who you are. And therefore, to make yourself, or 3, you feel, you have low self-worth. And to make yourself feel better, you criticize other people. You put them down to make yourself feel better. And it just shows you have low self-esteem. And when you have low self-esteem, it's just you're not a pleasant person to be around. because you're always going to whine and complain. And nobody likes a whiner or a complainer or somebody who doesn't take chances, who is very timid and doesn't have a lot of confidence. Now, the other side is number 3, you think you're too good for somebody or something or circumstance. You know that person who's won't hang out with that other person in a lower social class because of their monetary system or whatever it is. Instead of being positive and uplifting and supportive, they just, no, I'm too good for that person. They're stuck up. Or I remember when I had to clean toilets and mop floors. I was basically a janitor of this yoga center. At first I was thinking, well, God, I got a college degree. I didn't graduate college to do this. I'm cleaning bathrooms, mowing lawns, and cleaning fountains and mopping floors. And why am I doing this? And then suddenly it hit me. What difference does it make? I'm here to make this center a better place. And that's all that matters. And this is the work agreement that I agreed to. So do the best I can. And if I got a problem with the toilets, well, I clean my own toilets. What's the big deal? You know what I mean? All I got to do is, well, it's other people's urine. It's disgusting. Well, I just put on some rubber gloves. And I doubled up the rubber gloves. And I put on an apron in case stuff splashed to me. And I realized it's not a big deal. If I'm worried about getting stuff on me, I just wear protection. And mopping floors, well, it's not hard. You know, I started to think, like, how hard is this work? It's actually kind of easy. It's not complex. What am I complaining about? There's nothing to complain about. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to mop this floor the best I can. And when I started to apply that intention, I'm going to do the best I can, it became fulfilling. I stopped complaining to myself, really. It was this internal dialogue. I thought I was too good for it. But you get the idea. If you're ever too good for something, you're not going to put your all into it. You're not even going to try at it. You're not even going to give it a chance. You've just written it off, and you keep yourself from having a wonderful experience. Number 4, not believing in yourself. If you have no self-worth, no self-confidence, no self-esteem, well, it's going to come across as that. No one's going to trust what you do. No one's going to trust what you say. Because you're always going to be timid. You're always going to be asking what other people think. What are their opinions? And never having a true opinion, no real conviction of your own. Always dependent upon what other people think of you. You know, that's often comes with, you know, having no self-worth, not believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not even going to try. You're going to quit before you even start. And when you quit before you even start, well, you never open yourself to the opportunity. And that's why things don't work out. Which leads into number 5, procrastinating. If you're always putting things off, always saying, I'll do it in a minute. I'll do it in 5 minutes. I'll do it in 10 minutes. I'll do it in an hour. What difference does it make? I'll do it tomorrow. And it never gets done. I'll do it next week. I'll do it by the end of the week. You keep putting things off, it never gets done. Let's just say your laundry. I mean, this is a great example. You give yourself what's called a 5-second rule. You count down from 5 to 1, and before you get to 1, you just start doing it. You know, the thought arises, I got to get my laundry done. I can do it tomorrow. Nope, just start counting 1 or 5, 4, 3, and before you get to 1, just start doing it. And then you'll realize, well, I'm actually getting things done. If you count up 1 to 5, well, then you'll just start thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll keep counting. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. What difference does it make? It never gets done. Counting down from 5 to 0, before you get to 1, you should just get right on it. And you'll find yourself, oh my God, I'm actually getting so much more done. Number 6, overeating. Now, this is a big one. A lot of people overeat. And, you know, who doesn't want to eat till their heart's content? Only you're not eating to your heart's content. You're eating way beyond that. You're eating like you haven't eaten in a month. You're eating beyond your stomach's capacity to fill food. You know, the stretch receptors there are stretch receptors inside your stomach that when they stretch to a certain point, they tell your brain to stop releasing. Basically, it tells your brain that you're full. So you no longer feel hungry. But you keep eating because you think you're hungry when you're not, when you don't need to eat. And that only makes you overweight. It makes you obese. It gives you high blood pressure. It gives you diabetes. It's not good when you're pigging out all the time. I know I used to have contests when I was younger about who can eat the most with my brother, and I got to like half a pizza pie, and I remember so proud of myself. And I continued to eat like that for a great many years until my metabolism began to slow down as I got older and I started to put on weight. And I realized this overeating is not doing me any good. It gave me high blood pressure. And I learned to control my rations. I learned to pay attention to my stomach. When I'm full, I stop eating. And I notice I get full faster. And on days where you're not very active, if you're not burning calories, well, then don't input extra calories that your body doesn't burn. It's a surefire way to gain weight, give yourself high blood pressure and diabetes. So only eat portions, smaller portions, and you're going to be aware of your stomach. It's going to feel full. Suddenly you're not hungry. Pay attention to what your body tells you. Number 7, assuming. Don't make an ass out of you and me. Assuming things, to presume, is to fill in the blanks of whatever it is, the circumstance, and thinking that you know, and then you go into it unprepared. You underestimate. And when you underestimate something, it's because you assumed things. And then when you hit it, you're not going to be ready for it. Assuming things about people, you've already written them off before you even talk to them. If you don't give anybody a chance because you assume something about them, well, how are you going to cultivate a great relationship? You don't know what kind of person they are. You just assume things about them. And if you never take the time to talk to somebody and get to know them, you can't say that you know them. You follow what I'm saying? You can't say they're this type of person. They're probably going to be like, if you never get to know them, if you're just assuming, or the circumstance. That job is probably like this. It's going to be, I'm assuming it's this. When you assume, you're actually saying you have no idea and you're just making things up because you're afraid to find out. Instead, get to know, learn about something. When you don't know about something, then there's the opportunity to learn. As a doctor, I studied a lot, and I used to be Mr. Know-it-all. But the more I learn, the more I know that I don't know. And the more that I learn how much I don't know and how much more there is to learn. And it's a never-ending process. In fact, it makes life an adventure. I'm always curious to find out, to learn, find out why, to find out how, to find out what is. And it's a discovery. And I realize I can't know everything, which gives me the opportunity to learn everything. And I can learn, and it's fun to learn. It's fun to expand my awareness into different subjects and into myself. Ultimately, life is always going to be about self-awareness and learning about yourself. Those are the 7 hidden self-sabotaging behaviors that you may have thought are completely normal. I mean, who doesn't procrastinate? What's the big deal? If you think you're too good, well, you think, well, you're not supposed to hang out with those losers. And what makes you better than them? It just doesn't work. Now, if you're going to keep yourself on a pedestal, well, you're never going to give yourself a chance to know somebody. And not believing in yourself, you need to develop your self-confidence. It's all about believing in yourself that you can learn as you go. So thinking positive, having hope and having a positive outlook has shown more people become successful more than the person who is actually pessimistic. People tend to be more accurate. But as a consequence of their accuracy, they tend not to do something because they're so accurate about how it is impossible or the probability is very low. Where the person who is positive actually keeps perfecting, even though they're failing. They keep perfecting their knowing, their understanding. And because they do that, they improve beyond the pessimist. And because they improve, they succeed. Never underestimate someone. When you assume something about people, you never really know their hidden talents. You never know the possibility of what they can do for you, who they can be for you. You may find a new great friend, a new ally, and you'll never know it unless you get to know them. So don't ever underestimate somebody. In fighting, you never underestimate your enemy or your opponent because you get your ass whooped. Always respect your opponent. Be respectful. Don't Don't go talking behind people's backs. It's disrespectful. Nobody likes a person who's being disrespectful. Be respectful. Carry yourself with integrity. Do what you say you're going to do. Be who you say you are. Be reliable. Be honest and trustworthy. That'll get you ahead more than being two-faced and dishonest. Develop the growth mindset. There's always room to grow. And it may be uncomfortable. You got to break out of your comfort zone to begin to grow and improve your circumstance and yourself as a person. That's how you do it. That's how you overcome these self-sabotaging behaviors. Because if you're in denial, you're never going to change. Once you become aware of it, you cannot deny it. You need to be honest with yourself to have a ground to walk on, to have a ground to work from. In order to work towards, you got to be honest with where you are now. And if you're in denial, well, you're never going to be honest with yourself, and you'll never change, and then you'll never grow. So become aware of these shortcomings and work on them, not to say you're a bad person, but to say there's always room for improvement. In order to change your circumstance, you yourself must change your mindset and your behavior. If you have any challenges in life, you find yourself at a bottleneck and you don't know why, well, this could be why. I can help you discover the possibility of experience abundance, freedom, and fulfillment so you can experience the life you truly want to live. I do that through my 5-step program. 1, we're going to find out what it is you want. What are the goals that you truly have? 2, what are the skills you have? Let's look at your skills. You need to develop some skills to attain those goals. 3 is your mindset. You got to believe in yourself. You got to look at your thoughts and see which thoughts are actually holding you back. What you think becomes your life. Number 4, we're going to work on consistency, developing a discipline to stick with the commitments of your goal, because if you don't follow through, you're never going to attain your goal. And number 5, healing. There's always trauma when it comes to commitment or lack of commitment, because these emotional patterns are unconscious. And if you don't clear them out of you, they're going to haunt you every step of your life. This is Dr. Spencer Coaches. If you have any questions, I sure hope that helps. Go ahead and leave a comment below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening.